ready to go.
And everybody in the theater did just that. They're all, and you could hear this woman going, "Mom, Mom."
Bless her heart.
When Julie Andrews burst into the sound of music, she woke up.
Mr. Mayor, it is 9 a.m. and the live stream has commenced. You may begin your meeting.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. I see that we indeed have quorum this morning. I call this meeting into session. And first up on the agenda, we ask all those that can to please stand for the national anthem. Thank you. Now it is our custom to move to do the land acknowledgement statement. And this morning we have Councilor Bernarski will do the honors.
The town of Pelham is situated on treaty land, steeped in the rich history of the First Nations such as the Hadiwandurunk, Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island live and work in Niagara. The town of Pelham stands in solidarity with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, acknowledging that our high standard of living is a result of the resources and lasting friendship of the Indigenous peoples.
Thank you, Councillor. Council, this morning we have a pleasant job to before we get into the ordinary agenda. So it is my honor as mayor to be able to celebrate the successes of the community, which we do around the Horseshoe many times. And today it is my pleasure to extend a special congratulations to an individual who has achieved record-setting podium finishes on the world stage at the 25th Annual World Transplant Games, Pelham's Jeanette Dempster. And you will remember Ms. Dempster, of course, she spoke at our last Volunteer Appreciation Day night. This past August, Jeanette was one of the athletes representing 51 countries that gathered in Dresden, Germany for the Games. The Games are a celebration of a second chance and aim to demonstrate the success of transplant surgeries and raise public awareness of organ and tissue donation. Jeanette, a 2018 heart transplant recipient, completed and represented Canada with distinction in the swimming events. Her dedication and hard work have paid off. Jeanette brought home 4 medals in her age category, including setting a World Transplant Games record with a time of 3 minutes, I take it. Right, 3 minutes and 5 seconds in the women's 100-meter backstroke. In addition, Jeanette also earned a gold in the women's 200-meter freestyle and a silver in both the women's 50-meter freestyle and backstroke. This is a remarkable achievement, obviously, and even more so knowing Jeanette took up competitive swimming after her 2018 transplant. So you weren't a lifelong swimmer by any means. Jeanette's journey is a testament to what can be accomplished with courage, resilience, and a determination to make the most of a second chance. Jeanette, you've made Pelham proud. Your success serves as an inspiration to all of us. We're cheering you on, and we hope your story inspires others to explore how they can support the transplant community. Congratulations, and thank you for representing Pelham so well on the world stage. Any words that you would like to have for this council and to the residents? Yep. Oh, you brought the hardware. Excellent. I believe so. Wow, looked pretty awesome.
When I was in Dresden, we had to wear these athlete signs everywhere we went in town. Because that allowed us to go onto any public transportations. Okay, so we had to wear these lanyards, and it says athlete, public, transplant recipient, athlete. So people would approach us, anybody from the community, and say, well, what's this all about? And it was our opportunity on a one-to-one basis to talk about transplants. And funny enough, Germany has a very poor record of organ transplants. So what they did was a concerted effort to bring the transplant games there to increase public awareness. And the public were very, very interested, and we were well received, and it was a tremendous experience. I can't begin to tell you all the little stories I have about that. But foremost for today, I would like to say thank you to all my family, my friends. The people of this community were unbelievable in their support of me, whether it be just good luck, Jeanette, whether it be to donate dollars to the GoFundMe page that I had set up, all kinds of ways that they said good luck. And, that meant so much to me, and I want to thank you all for that. That's all. And look forward to the Canadian Transplant Games taking place in Sherbrooke, Quebec, next July. And then after that, the next World Transplant Games in near Brussels.
Wow. So it seems like you're going to take a couple of weeks off of training, and then you're right back into it again.
I got home, and all I did was I crashed. I slept. I slept, I think, for a week. And the thing was, when we started, the challenges started right away because we were on an Air Canada flight. We were the last flight to go out before the strike, before everything went. I can see it on the board, all the reds, they were all canceled. And there was the one little green one that said, okay, you're still a go. And the only reason we were a go was because they had to bring the pilots home. Yeah, so as luck would have it.
So before you, hopefully you don't mind taking some questions from council?
No, not at all.
Okay, thanks. Before I turn it to council, my one question, how many competitors were there overall in the games?
Oh, I think about 2,000, close to that.
Wow, wow.
54 nations. The largest teams were from Britain, awesome team, and America,
Wow.
USA. And I got to tell you that there was no politics in this event. No politics. Nobody talked politics. We were all brothers and sisters in organ donation. And that leveled the playing field right away.
Yes.
The first event that they had us go to was at a church, and it was a multi-faith church, and they had people that spoke about organ transplants, and there would be ministers and priests and leaders, and they almost had the whole church in tears because of the feeling of camaraderie and gratefulness. I think gratefulness is the big feeling that was there. It was awesome. And the church was spectacular. Wish I had my slides to show you.
Excellent, thank you. Any members of council have any questions? Deputy Mayor Eckert.
No, hi, Jeanette, how are you? I've had the privilege of speaking to you on many occasions, and I saw you at the the band shell just before you left and wished you congratulations. I'm not taking any credit for your success, of course. But congratulations. It's a wonderful, my wife and I were following this, and I'm not telling any secrets here, but my wife recently donated a kidney to her sister, and they're both doing excellent. But I'm going to go home and have a chat with her because she has some goals here I think she needs to set. And maybe she could be standing here one day receiving our accolades. But thank you very much and congratulations, and thank you for representing not only Pelham but Canada as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. There was only 11 swimmers. And there was only, there weren't that many. But we did really well. The 11 swimmers, we came back with a lot of medals.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Excellent. On behalf of council and the residents of the town, we thank you for representing us so well at these games, and continued success in the future. And to show the council's appreciation, we would like you to come up to the horseshoe, and I'll make a presentation. The certificate of appreciation for your great showing and practice at the games, and also.
Just trying to get, so the count.
Oh,
Yep.
maybe I.
And then if we can
Oh, you can. Yeah.
Shuffle. For you, excellent.
And now,
And then Eric, that way adjustments.
be good.
Do you want me over again?
Nope, you're good right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, that was definitely good news, and we have more good news in the next presentation. I turn to the clerk to begin the business.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to the approval of the agenda, and I have a motion put forth by Councillor Niznik, seconded by Deputy Mayor Eckert. Be it resolved that the agenda for September 17th, 2025, regular meeting of council be adopted as circulated.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments on the agenda? Not seeing any. Call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you. That brings you to the disclosure of pecuniary interests.
After viewing the agenda, does any council have to disclose a pecuniary interest? Not seeing any. Please take note, Madam Clerk.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, that then brings you to item 7, and we are joined this morning by Dr. Leslie Rigg, President and Vice Chancellor of Brock University, who is presenting on Brock's new strategic plan in collaboration with the town of Pelham. And I invite the presenter to the podium.
It's always great to have members from the school on the Hill. Thank you for joining us this morning.
We should reframe that, the school in the community.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, councillors, for having us here today. I know that our time is short, so I will concentrate on what we do and what we celebrate with Pelham, because I think we have a lot to celebrate, and it's going to be a great year and a great few years ahead of us, which is what our strategic plan sets us up for. If I could have the next slide, please. I think I won't go into the history lesson. You all know that Brock is only here because of this community rallying around in the late 50s and early 60s to raise the funds to go to the government to say, we need a university here in our community. So Brock has never forgotten that, and while we celebrated our 60th anniversary or birthday last year, and thank you to those of you who attended some of our celebrations, we know that the next 60 years is just as important when it comes to our impact and our work with the community and how we celebrate our successes together. So if I could have the next slide, please. We are proud to say that we have over 120,000 alumni now that are out in the community. And one thing that I'll say that is a new statistic to me, and it's pretty amazing, that 23% of our students, or is it 28%, Zach? 29, okay, so it's gone up to 29. 29% of our students at Brock are from the Niagara region. I actually thought that was lower than I expected, but what the next stat is so interesting is 40% of students, when polled on campus, say that after being here, they want to stay in this region. So Brock University does help facilitate keeping talent in this area, which is so important. We also have 2,100 full-time faculty who live in the region supporting the Niagara economy, including 140 that live, or 140-ish, I think it's 141 now, who live right here in Pelham. So our impact is indirect and direct. And if you go to the next slide, we celebrate the fact that both direct and indirect costs and measures indicate that every year, $1.3 billion, oh, it's gone. I'll just talk. The fact that Brock is here, the indirect and direct impact of that financially on the region is that we have a $1.3 billion economic impact in Niagara, and if you extend that out to Canada, or sorry, to Ontario, it becomes a $2.4 billion impact. This shows the importance of universities at large across not just Ontario, but Canada. We do drive innovation, and we do that not always in the driver's seat. Many times it's members from our community that are driving that car, and we're the co-pilot. So it's very important for us. In recent years, we have seen the opening of our Brock Niagara Validating, Prototyping, and Manufacturing Institute. I just visited it the other day to look at one of the companies that's incubating in there. They are a rowing company. They're working on precision instrumentation for rowers, and they look to break into the global market. And that is community members, students, and investors in the Niagara region investing in Niagara and work that's going on here. We've launched our integrated engineering program, and that was a direct response to a request when Brock was founded in 1966. We were instructed to create an engineering school. We did so last year. So it took us a while, but we got there, and it's going great guns. We have more students this year than we anticipated, and that number will be growing every year in our specialized integrated program. We're about to open a federally funded research farm, and it's sort of right in between here and our campus. It's not too far from anyone, and it will be researching clean agriculture and sustainable production in this region. Initial focus will be on grapevine virology and being able to create rootstock here in Ontario for the grape. Do you know that, wild fact, every year we have to replace in Canada 6 million grapevines. All those grapevines are from either Europe or the United States or anywhere from Canada does not supply it. So Brock is looking to turn that around and have Canada as the supplier of Canada's needs when it comes to grapevine and other kinds of agriculture sustainability. So I think if we go back one, or yep, going back another one, and another one, and I won't go through the strategic plan, because what I really want to do is celebrate what we do here in Pelham. And so this past year, we had 11 co-op placements in Pelham. You may know that Brock University is known in Canada for its experiential learning. I think about experiential learning because that's how I learn, as that process of getting your feet wet and your hands dirty. And if students aren't doing that, they're not learning to the degree that they could be. So we are dedicated. 100% of our programs at Brock have an experiential learning component. And that is the ability to bridge that theory with practice. And we do that in live time with communities like Pelham across Niagara with our co-op placements. So that's actually not last year, but that was over the last few years. But what I really love is if you can scroll down just a little bit so you can read that top, whoops, yeah, just, I don't know if you can get anyways, it might be in your package. Great quotes from the students who are working here. The top one says, "The town of Pelham is a great place to work. the culture is built on teamwork and reliability. And I think that that says it all. When our students work here, when they learn here, they are more successful. And so we thank you for doing that hand in hand with us. Given that time's short, if you go to the next slide, and then one more, Transforming People and Reimagining the Future is our newly launched strategic plan. I welcome you to go onto the website. I'll just say a couple things about it because there's nothing more boring than having somebody read you through a strategic plan. I'll let you do that yourself. But this was an intensive consultation. We met with over 2,000 individuals and groups. So some of those 2,000, and where you have one of them, that was actually a group of 30 people. So that was many, many individuals that we touched on. And we included 150 of our community partners in those consultations. So we really wanted to make sure that our future reflected the needs of our community. If you go to the next one, the tagline is Transforming People and Reimagining the Future, as I said, through curiosity, creativity, and courage. And the word courage there is something I think that is pretty special to Brock. I haven't seen that pop up in many other universities' strategic plan, and I think it represents the ability of our students to come onto campus and to take that courageous step of being involved, getting out there into community, leaving the classroom, doing things that might be outside of their comfort zone. And again, if it wasn't for the supportive community in which we're situated, I don't think we could have the courage to do those things. So if you go to to the next slide. Our guiding principles, they're not too surprising, but on the last one, that notion of learning through curiosity, what I really want to say is that this reflects not just what the students do in the classroom, but that co-learning and that sharing of knowledge that they experience when they're not in the classroom, if they're volunteering somewhere, if they're working in a community like Pelham, if they're going hiking, whatever it is, it's that curiosity to get out and really think about how they're applying what they're learning to the world around them. So if you go to the next slide, I'll leave it with you because I know that time is short, that the strategic directions are shaping tomorrow through research, discovery, and knowledge. That makes sense. We're a university. If we didn't do that, I'm not sure what we were doing. But building sustainable futures is all in our best interest. That's environmental sustainability, fiscal sustainability. It's sustainability in the broad sense of the word. Realizing you matter is so important to us, and bringing the world to Brock and Brock to the world. We are having challenges with many areas and regions when it comes to international collaborations, we are dedicated to continuing to bring the world to Niagara and allowing our students and facilitating our students to go out and experience the world. I think the world needs that more than ever right now. And if you go to the next slide, where I'd like to end is a little bit of a celebration, and that's on the Brock BFIT Pelham collaboration. The classes are collaborative. They are a wonderful example of how we enjoy being out in the community and the impact that we can have. This is one of the most successful satellite programs we run. It started in 2020, which I'm sure you're aware of. We run classes 3 times per week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with sessions in the fall, winter, and spring, summer. Over the years, it has provided the opportunity for employment for Brock students and even placement opportunities to gain experience in teaching group exercise classes. We really do look forward to continuing to build the strong relationship that we have. And it's really nice to have such a gold standard in our repertoire of things that we can look to build on our future collaborations. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions, but really the reason for my visit here today is not to remind you that we exist, I know that you all know that, but to thank you deeply and authentically for working with us, because it really does change the nature of our university and it helps shape the future direction of our students. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us this morning. So my first term as mayor, which would have been 2018, 2019, I was called to Brock University by then President Garvin Farron.
Gervin Farron, yeah.
Yeah, and wow, and he said, and it was him, and we sat down, and he's his PhD in the dairy industry of Ontario, and that's where I spent my life. So we had a lot to talk about before, and then we got down to brass tacks, and he said, Marvin, we feel we have been too isolated in the community, and we are going to reach out and be a part of this community. And boy, have you guys ever done that? I mean, like you say, the placements in our town. I know Lincoln. I'm sure all the other cities, regions have benefited from your students. I mean, I've never worked with them. I can imagine that the youthfulness, the energy of the young coming into a situation has got to be very uplifting and great people to work with. So I just want to commend your university on reaching out and truly becoming a great part of the community, and it's great to see, and as your strategic plan states, you're going to continue that in the future, and great to see that. So thank you.
So much.
Questions on the presentation from councilor members? Not seeing any. I guess it was very informative, and again, thank you and your team for for appearing today before us, and keep sending your students on the co-op programs. Thank you.
And happy to be back anytime. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. To the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a motion put forth by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Brunarski.
Have a good day.
Be it resolved that Council receive the presentation from Dr. Rigg regarding Brock University's strategic plan and collaboration opportunities with the town for information. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Not seeing any. Call the vote. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 7.2. Tax write-offs under the Municipal Act, Sections 357 and 358. And I have a motion put forth by Councillor Brunarski, seconded by Councillor Wink. Be it resolved that Council receive the taxes written off report from the Corporate Services Department, and that Council approve the taxes written off in the amount of $6,588.90 as per the Municipal Act, Sections 357 and 358. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions to staff or any comments on this report? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to the adoption of council minutes, and I have a motion put forth by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that the following minutes be adopted as printed, circulated, and read. C-14-2025, regular council meeting of September 3rd, 2025. To you, Mr. Mayor, for any errors or omissions.
Yep, thank you. After viewing the minutes, any council member would like to report any omissions or additions to these minutes? Not seeing any, Madam Clerk. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 9. If there are any items to which council would like to lift from the consent agenda, now would be the time.
After viewing the agenda items, does any council member have any items that they would like to lift? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to the consent agenda. If any members of council would like to speak on a topic on the consent agenda, now would be the time. And we do have quite a lean consent agenda today, so perhaps it can be considered as a whole.
Yes, I believe you're correct there. Any discussion on any of the agenda items? Deputy Mayor Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't think there's anybody here who can answer my question, but it's on the transit in 10.3.1. I'm trying to read this chart here and about where trips are originating from and going to. And so I'm looking at Pelham, and if I'm reading it right, there was 464 trips within Pelham. Am I reading that right? Yes. Okay. And then 226 to St. Catharines, that's the two major, 554 to Welland, okay. Okay, then I'm reading it right. Thank you very much.
Mr. CEO, I believe we have our transit representative appearing before us in the next meeting or two.
As usual, Your Worship, you are correct. Just wanted to say that publicly. Our regional rep, Councillor Wayne Olson, has requested delegate status, and maybe Madam Clerk can help me. It's either the next meeting or the one thereafter, and I've dropped the ball there. But
It's tentatively scheduled for the next meeting.
there we are. So you can get the information straight from the horse's mouth beyond the data there. He has actually quite a few messages to deliver with respect to transities. So we look forward to receiving him in 2 weeks.
Okay. So you have to tuck that in your folder, Deputy Mayor, and ask, I'm sure Wayne will be able to answer that question. Thank you. Any other questions on the agenda, on the consent agenda? Not seen any, Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilor Nesnick.
Yes, thank you. So just with 10.2.1, I didn't see the attachment, or is that the link that I should have read there? There it
Sorry,
is.
I did include the link just for
It's
the size
link?
of the document.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I see
Thank
it.
you, Councilor.
Okay, if there's no more discussion on the consent agenda, I have a motion put forth by Councillor Bernarski, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that the consent agenda items as listed on the September 17th, 2025 consent agenda be received and the recommendations therein be approved. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. One last chance. Any other debate, any more debate on the consent agenda items? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? See none opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 12.2, staff reports requiring action. And our first item is 12.2.1, artificial intelligence policy. And I have a motion put forward by Deputy Mayor Eckert, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2025-0191 for information, and that Council adopt artificial intelligence policy S40106 as appended. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. After reading the report, does any council member have any questions to staff regarding the report, or any comments on the report? Not seeing any. I thought perhaps Councillor Hildebrand would have had one, but perhaps I have egged him on. Go ahead, sir.
I do have some notes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your indulgence. Yeah, I took a look at the policy, and my conclusion was that the manager of IT has a huge responsibility because he's got to list them, he's got to monitor them, he's got to oversee them, and he's got to approve them, which is an awesome responsibility to get. Because when you look at the number of AI programs out there, there is a large number of programs. And they become very specific. I know in the electricity industry, they have very specific AI programs that they use. And being an engineer, the engineers approve the engineer AI programs that they use. One of the big programs they use is for transformers. It's hard to imagine, but AI has been very successful in the AI industry of monitoring transformers, and because they need to be inspected, and AI is far more accurate in their analysis than a person's eye is, because AI has had pictures of thousands, if not more, of transformer issues. And so therefore, AI has become very, very productive. But when you look at the number of major AI programs, like you got Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, Gronk, government, Cisco systems, Clerks, Otter, the list just goes on of the number of programs. And I'm not sure how we're going to classify which program the departments are going to use and who's going to choose what to use. And then the manager of IT has the responsibility to make sure they're all so-called approved. Just general comments. I don't know if I need any answers, just
Well, we will, I see we have been joined by the director of our IT department. Mike, any other comments on the report, and perhaps even outside of the report scope?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, there is also going to be a large need in regards to training for AI and AI functionality. So that's a very important component once the AI or AI technologies are launched or being introduced within the town. Councillor Hildebrand is correct. There are a multitude number of AI technologies and software that are out there. Microsoft being one of the leaders in regards to some of the Office and cloud applications that we use internally with staff would be one. But in regards to, looking at energy or energy efficiencies, definitely there are a number or large scope of applications as well. So we will try to, develop a strategic plan into, how we want to roll out the AI. If we're looking at, completing some of the daily tasks that we do with town staff, that's more of a Microsoft-based platform. If we look, once staff are, comfortable with using the technology and we have, let's say, not mastered it, but we have a good sound knowledge of the technology, then we can start expanding to other, facets of the town. But yeah, there's, right now, AI is exploding. And once again, one of the key aspects is to, how do we adopt and how do we train staff accordingly in regards to using this technology?
So this council and the town is going to be building a new fire station, for example. And I imagine AI components can be added on. Will we be looking at anything to go into this building to begin with, or is that something that has to be tied in with everything, other components of the town?
I believe that's something that we would probably have to tie in, perhaps at a later date. There are some, artificial intelligence components, let's say in regards to networking, that we can implement, because a lot of the AI features come standard with the cloud-based architecture and equipment that we use on the networking side. But in regards to other aspects, that's things that we would have to investigate.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions on the report? And as we have the IT director here, and thank you for joining us, any questions to Mike? Councilor?
Just one further word with regards to AI and customer service. The LDCs in the meetings I've been had, that's one area they've not gone into because they're concerned about cybersecurity coming in through their customer service portal, because they say it's a direct connection in. So they haven't solved that one yet, just for information.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Not seeing any. Turn to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have a motion on the floor if you'd like to call for a vote to approve the policy.
Okay, then I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to the next report, 12.2.2, hydro lines on Highway 20. And I have a motion put forth by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Wink. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2024-0204 for information, and that Council direct staff to work with Hydro 1 to proceed with a Class A estimate and required easement works for the conversion of overhead to underground hydro lines along Highway 20 in Pond Hill, and subsequently report back to Council on next steps for future direction. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent, thank you. Any comments, questions on this report? Excuse me. Myself personally, I'm very interested in seeing where this dialogue ends up. Obviously, we need some more figures, perhaps, to make the final decision. Mr. CEO, do you any idea what the timeline is and how are negotiations? What's your sense on negotiations with the with Hydro as far as their ultimate timeline? Any idea on that?
in grad school, they teach you about inputs going into a black box and not really understanding what happens in the black box, and output comes out. And that's kind of how you get to policy and decision. And that is how I would describe the country's biggest hydro corporation. It's a black box. You don't really understand what's happening inside it, and I'm not sure if the people inside it understand what's happening inside it. So, so academia has really prepared. Like, I thought they were dry lessons, but here I am years later and able to draw on that. So, so bully for a political science professor 25 years ago.
Thank you for that.
What I can say is that more recently, we've had a couple of people who've had clear carriage of the file, which has changed, allowed engineering to have more fruitful conversations. And so we finally had proper movement because there's like an identifiable humans. But beyond that, anything we would say would be conjecture. I think I'd certainly turn the floor over to our Director of Public Works, but at the end of the day, we are not driving this process as much as normally we would be for any sort of development, particularly on property we own, which this ultimately is. But here we're the cart, not the horse. And with those remarks, we'll turn it over to Mr. Marr if he has something more concrete. We're very optimistic for this year, but at the end of the day, from my perspective, it's a black box and vortex, and we just hope something excellent will come out the other end.
We'll go to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Marr.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So, yes, I've had conversations with Hydro. So they are working on the Class A estimates. We gave the authorization for them to go ahead with that estimate a few months ago. So we were promised something back this September. My guess is they've changed the project manager. So my guess is that's probably going to be delayed a little bit, but we're hoping for Q4 of this year that we'll hear back with what the results are of the Class A estimate, and then we can bring that information forward to council for consideration.
Excellent, thank you. So this report is, as you both pointed out, just keeping council informed of the discussions, and no decision needed at this time as to, because we do not have a bottom line as of now. Excellent, thank you. It is noted, I know I've talked to a couple of businesses, one business obviously, and Hydro has seems to be pretty serious about this whole project, because they have approached that business as to where they want to put I believe it's a transformer on the ground on their property, and so they are obviously it is getting their some of their time. That's for sure. Any other questions on this report? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries. To the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next report is 12.2.3, engineering assignment for the reconstruction of Merritt Road between Pelham Street and Rice Road. And I have a motion put forward by Councillor Niznik, seconded by Deputy Mayor Eckert. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2025-0199 for information, and that Council direct staff to issue a request for proposal to complete 30% design on Merritt Road in the amount of $150,000, and that the $150,000 be to complete the engineering assignment be funded through the Roads Reserve and Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions, comments on this report? Deputy Mayor Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the Director, through you to the Director of Public Works. Is this our portion of the region's future plan to extend Merritt Street all the way down to the 406, I believe?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So, yeah, this would be doing some advanced engineering work for the reconstruction, eventual reconstruction of Merritt Road between Pelham Street and Rice Road. So it ties in with what the region's going to be doing. Now, they've just completed an environmental assessment study, municipal class environmental assessment study on their project. It is being challenged, but for all intents and purposes, they've already gone through what their preferred solution is. So this project will tie into their project. Regardless if their project was to move forward or not, we're going to see development in Pelham, which is going to drive the need to have that road urbanized and brought up to today's standards for more vehicles and safe pedestrian movements and that type of stuff. So regardless of if the project for the region moves forward or not, we have a good incentive to do this project for our own infrastructure.
Okay, thank you. And just to follow up on that, so I know there's great interest in the region section of that, and it goes through some wetlands and what have you for the environmental assessment. Is there any portion of ours that follows under that, or are we pretty well established? I know they're looking at creating a new road through an area where ours is an existing road. So do we fall under any of that environmental concerns?
To the director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so this is exactly what this engineering assignment will do. It'll look at a geometric profile and layout for the proposed roadway, which will be within an existing road allowance that's been used as a road. But when we do these assignments, we always do archaeological studies, environmental impact studies. So this will be something that gets taken care of as part of this engineering assignment. We're finding that when we're doing reconstruction projects, these studies are required and they're taking extreme amounts of time to be done and be evaluated by the ministry. So for instance, Cambro Road we're almost a year and a half in. We still haven't got clearance to do the water main work on Cambro Road because of the archaeological reviews. So we're just finding that this is taking longer and longer to get these studies done and get them passed. So moving ahead with this work now will help us meet the end date of 2029 of March to get this project completed and done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Did you say 2029 is when we hope to do that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so Merritt Road will be part of the grant submission that we submitted. The deadline, we haven't formalized the transfer payment agreements on that yet, but the dates that they're providing us now is that the completion dates for all the projects as part of that grant is March of 2029. So we'd like to start this process as soon as possible. This is a major reconstruction section of road. Like I said in previous discussions, I usually look at a 3-year time frame for these types of projects where you do design work, allow for utility relocations, property if required, and satisfying some of the environmental constraints, and then you go to construction. So we have some time here, but yeah, the date in the grant is March of 2029 for completion.
Great, thank you. Just sometimes we forget how far in advance our staff have to plan these things out, and great, thank you for that information. Any other questions comments on the report? Not seeing any, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed, motion carries. To the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to 12.2.4, advanced replacement of a tandem axle snowplow. And I have a motion put forth by Councillor Niznik, seconded by Councillor Brunarski. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2025-2000 for information, and that Council approve the purchase of a new tandem axle truck to replace the existing unit in 2025 through the Canoe Procurement Group for $432,480, including net HST, and that Council directs staff to fund the replacement from the Fleet Reserve. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. To the CAO, just another example of using this canoe forum, and it seems to be paying dividends off to the town.
I think council should take the opportunity to hear directly from Mr. Cook, who has the lived experience, and it's he and his team who, on an administrative level, derive the immediate benefit from this change. It's greatly simplified his life and the sort of the paperwork and churn behind purchasing. So I'll let him speak to that directly. But from the vantage point of my office, you know, we kicked the tires hard on this. 3 years ago, we were talking with LAS/AMO at Roma, at AMO, and, you know, it made a lot of sense. And then ultimately, council made the very good decision to allow us to engage with it. And we now have multiple successful projects and purchases, whether we're talking about hedging on on gas and electricity, or whether we're talking about purchases that are faster than they have been historically, or whether we're talking about better pricing. And sometimes we're talking about better pricing and faster. But we haven't had a single experience. We don't have a single sort of, I hit my thumb with the hammer, that was terrible. Every single experience we've had has been better than what it's replaced. It's thus far, it has a flawless track record. And I just think it's one of the best things we've done as a municipal corporation in 5-6 years. It really has been a win. All right, I can't tell the story as well because I don't live that part daily. Mr. Cook can, and he's present, so I think we should give him the floor. If
Mr. Cook, please enlighten council on your experience with this purchase.
Yeah, through the mayor, in regards to fleet purchases, the amount of time that would take myself and staff to develop a tender package down to the minute detail that it would take to create like a very complex either piece of equipment or snowplow in this matter, it's hugely administratively, there's a massive burden on staff to do that. To purchase something that we all know what the end result is going to be anyway. And then those tenders usually take tenders usually take about, for a snowplow truck, for instance, I'm still waiting for the delivery of a snowplow that I ordered in February of 2024. I purchased 2 snowplows this year and received them within 5 months. The availability of turnkey equipment is also a huge benefit to us. If this tandem axle wasn't available through Canoe and wasn't a turnkey vehicle, we'd be waiting another 18 months to receive something that I don't have available for this season. So huge success for us, very lucky, and I'm also very happy that there aren't a number of other fleet managers that have caught on to this. Also, this might not have been available to me, so I don't want to say it too loud, but no, it really was in terms of time and delivery, and even the pricing that we're receiving is far lower than expectation of what we would get through a typical tender process. So it has been a massive benefit to at least the operations side of Public Works.
Excellent. So, yeah, win-win all the way along. We get the machine for the coming winter, and it saves staff massive amounts of time. So, excellent. Thank you for that. Any other questions from any member of council to either the CAO or to Mr. Cook? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries. To the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 15, and I have a motion put forth by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Deputy Mayor Eckert. Be it resolved that Council of the Town of Pelham have been given due consideration to the following. Do not read a first, second, and third time and pass same. That the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign and seal the bylaws as follows. 47-2025 being a bylaw to repeal and replace 32-2025 and to appoint Jody Conte as deputy clerk for the corporation in the Town of Pelham. And Mr. Mayor, this is resulting from a legal name change, and that is our only bylaw today.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments, questions? I don't see any. Congratulations, Jody. Well, we have to have the vote first. All those in favor? And motion carries. Congratulations.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And that brings you to item 19. And I have a motion put forward by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that the following bylaw do be ready first, second, and third time and passed. Being bylaw number 48, 2025, to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Pelham at its regular meeting held on the 17th day of September, 2025. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions? Not seeing any, call the vote. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to adjournment, and I have a motion put forth by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Bernarski. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned until the next regular meeting scheduled for October 1st, 2025 at 9 a.m. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries.
You may gavel at your meeting.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, council.